Now, here's George Roberts.
This is Skip Sheetz. Skip is president of the Pocono Center for the Arts. Skip, great to have you here on the program with us.
Great to be here. Very good.
Let's talk about the Pocono Center for the Arts. What exactly is this that you've created?
Well, we founded this back in 2018, 17, and with Rich Pisano and I. And the goal was to have a comprehensive center for the arts in the Poconos.
Okay.
And we got together and we said the first job is to come up with a name. So we said we'll come up with 3 names each, put them on a paper, and then choose one. We both had the exact same name, Pocono Center for the Arts. And it's a collaboration of the community and, for example, it's Shawnee Inn here. We had our first meeting here, we do our performances here. The Stroudmoor Country Inn, we do shows there. The Deerhead Inn, we do shows. So we collaborate and partner with area businesses, especially the resorts. And
so there's no building yet?
There's no building yet. I want to talk about that. We have a building under contract, but it would not be for our big shows.
Right. So up to this point, you've been doing shows at these different locations.
Right. Okay. And it makes sense. To put a show on like we do, think about it, we bring in 5 or 6 performers. These are people that are renowned worldwide, and or at least nationally known.
Sure.
So they require, you have to house them, you got to feed them, you got to give them good accommodations, and what better place to stay than here or just Stroudmoor? Right,
exactly. You know? The performances are fantastic. If you haven't seen any of these,
it's hard to explain.
I know, it really is. It's like a taste, like in some instances, a taste of Broadway. You bring in different Broadway singers and performers, and they come in and they do different songs, and they're not always Broadway tunes either. Sometimes they just pull things that they like, but it all comes together, and it's a fabulous performance.
It all has to do with Stephen DeAngelis. Stephen DeAngelis, we didn't meet him until we informed us about 6 months in.
So who is Stephen DeAngelis?
It's a long story, but he came to me on a reference. Somebody said, you have to meet him. And somebody told him, you got to meet Skip. And we hear that all the time. You hear it all the time. You got to meet somebody.
Right.
So Michael and I were away in Key West. We did a conference call, and for about 10 minutes, we're on the phone an hour and a half. And I hired him on the spot. Stephen has cast 100,000 people on all platforms.
Right.
You see people you see people on commercials, TV, movies. He's cast 100,000. He's doing Not Ready for Prime Time now. It's been cast. It's on Broadway in trials. It's got great reviews. They're getting a theater for it. And that's how Saturday Night Live formed.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about, Not Ready for Prime Time.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
Sure.
Yeah, he did Kowalski. That was the scene in The Streetcar Named Desire. That was the main character, and played by Marlon Brando. So what happened, he cast that just recently, and that's got great reviews. That'll be released soon. And that's what happened. Marlon Brando was going to a province town for an audition. They gave him $20. He spent it on something else. He had to hitchhike. He was 3 days late for the audition, and he met Tennessee Williams, who wrote the book. So the whole show is about those 2 characters, Marlon Brando and Tennessee Williams, their first meeting, and how they put this whole thing together.
So Stephen has a knack of finding people.
He has a knack for finding people. And the people we bring in, he's cast them in something. So they're beholden to him, or he knows of them, he's heard of them. So he's pulling in favors and relationships. If you've cast 100,000 people, you can imagine the people that are part of that thread. I mean, it's an incredible thing. He also does something in New York. He's been doing it for 20 years, 23 years, and it's called At This Performance. So he saw years ago that one of the big problems, he's a people person. So if you're a performer, for example, on Broadway, you have understudies, alternates, and extras. It's a whole series of people that don't really work. They work, but they're in the chorus. They're not really showcased.
Right.
They're not showcased. So if you're a producer, director, you don't know what they do. They're not performing anywhere, solo. So he did this thing called At This Performance, and he would do it all over New York until he found a place called the Yo Hotel, which is where he's at now permanently. So one Monday night a month, he puts on At This Performance. It's 7 or so understudies, alternates, and extras. They perform. He tells them one act to do. They do an act in the show they're in, and you have 7 or 8 producers and directors come to see him.
Sure.
He's been doing that. He's done over 1,300 of these people. So we have a lot of those people come in. So that's one of the things. And at our shows, by the way, we always have the Shawnee Playhouse performers come. They do a performance, either a solo and then a group, that they work with our performers. The people Stephen brings in, they have to have the attitude of being very warm and friendly. No, if they have attitude, we don't want them.
Sure.
We want people that relate to the people in this area, and we do things that people in this area love. In fact, Stephen cast it for this area. He knows the area. He knows what people like. So we do nothing highbrow. We do things people want to hear. and that's the important thing.
You get good turnouts.
We get great turn. We've sold every show out the last couple of years. You've been to a bunch of them.
Yeah, they're
And
really,
you
really
can't
nice.
explain it.
No. It's very hard to explain to somebody. You have to come and actually see the performances.
What you think about these performers, and just on our website, I have the names here. We were selling tickets. I didn't know who was coming in until a few weeks ago. People don't care. They know it's going to be a special show.
Right.
So what happens, maybe they've all had leads on Broadway shows plus any kind of other credits, but let's say maybe they haven't done a part for a couple of years.
Right.
So they come on our stage and they get a chance to do it. Now, the performance haven't met. Everybody thinks they know. They don't know each other.
Right,
We
right.
bring them in on a Saturday morning. We get a big SUV from Enterprise. One of my ambassadors drives them in. They come in here, or it'll be at the Stroudmoor. They come in the afternoon. We have dinner Saturday night with them, and they meet, and they interact, and they get a chance to just meet each other. And then Sunday morning, we set up the stage and sound and lighting, and then 12 o'clock, we do a sound check.
Yeah.
It's not really rehearsal, it's a sound check. And they go through it. The pianist we had, this Asher Denberg, is a prodigy on the piano, if you saw him perform. So he sight reads the whole show. He does it one time.
Okay.
And then at 4 o'clock, we put the show on. So maybe they haven't done the part in a couple years, maybe longer. It gives them a chance to recreate a role. They just don't sing a song if they're singing it. They're really creating it. They're becoming character. They come alive. And they're raw. It's on the stage. There's no backdrop, no orchestra. They're right there. And you're close to them. You're closer than you are 10 rows in Broadway. The worst seat is better than the best seat in Broadway.
I would say it's a testament to the people you're bringing in that they can do that, turn it around and perform. I've seen the performances and they're just
It's
really
hard to explain.
great to see.
When you're on Broadway, or if you're on any stage, it's a Sherman Theater. If you're a Sherman Theater and you're performing, you cannot see the audience. It's you're performing to a black void.
Yeah, yeah,
You can hear, but you can't see a thing.
right.
On our stage, we had the house lights so they can see the audience. They're reacting to the audience.
Right.
They're talking to you. They're doing it for the people backstage to show off.
Sure.
There's a lot of competition there. So they're doing it for that. They're all backstage. They come in and they go on and off. It's not just one person. They go on and come off and somebody else comes on. And they banter back and forth. And it gets to be fun because the hair's down.
Exactly. Sometimes they have little stories to tell. Sometimes they perform together, or sometimes they help with, the group of them will help with background vocals.
Right.
So they do all kinds of things that make it very interesting and very intimate too.
You see them as they are. They're not putting on an act. This is them and who they are.
Right.
And they're also doing it for the audience. They're doing it for themselves. So it's opening night and closing night all into one. It never happens again. You got the energy of opening night and the energy of closing night all into one. It's like lightning in a bottle. It never happens again. So if you're not there, you miss it.
And these performances that you have here in the Poconos, you do what, about 3-4 a year, correct?
Yes,
right
3 or 4 a year. We've done 31 so far.
You have something coming up called the Show of Shows.
Show of Shows.
In November 23rd. That's a little different than some of the other ones, correct?
They're all different.
Yeah.
I mean, every one is a separate thing. It never happens again. That's the big thing about these things. It's not a stock show. Stephen produces it and directs it for our audience. He got his start here, actually, at the Shawnee Playhouse.
Yeah, he has ties here to the Poconos.
He has
doesn't
ties here. He wants to move here.
Okay.
That was an odd thing, you know. He was at a stage in his life where he was making a big career change. His wife said, "What are you going to do next, Stephen?" He said, "I like to go to a place like I started, directing shows, maybe doing understudies from New York. I'd like to do something like that." Never dreaming he's going to come back to where he started.
Right.
It was a fluke. I mean, he was shocked.
So
and
it's
I
great.
was shocked. It was a great collaboration. So what we do at Show of Shows, it's 6 people this time. It's like the old Sid Caesar Show of Shows, introducing people that you'll never see anywhere else.
It's like variety.
It's
in
a
way,
variety.
right?
It's variety. Something for everybody.
And this is being held at the Stroudsmoor.
Stroudsmoor Country Inn, the Sunday before Thanksgiving at 4 o'clock.
And after that, your next one will be in the spring, correct?
We're going to open up the Deer Head Inn.
Okay.
They'll open again in March, so we'll be the first event there.
Okay.
That's already scheduled. So.
You selected these places like the Deer Head and Shawnee and Stroudsmoor. Why these locations?
Because they're icons of the community. They are the community, these resorts. They do a lot for the community. And when I went to them and with this idea, they got on board immediately. Yes, we want to partner. So we're partners.
Okay.
You know, they provide the rooms, they provide the food sometimes, and we couldn't do it without them. It would be impossible.
Now, people may look at this and say, well, Skip, there are things like this already in the Poconos, but there is and there isn't. I mean, how do you set yourself apart from other types of venues or performances?
I think the big thing, we have a building under contract downtown Stroudsburg. It's the next to Maritas. You know, Maritas, there's a big building. It's on our website, PoconoCenterForTheArts.org. In the front, there's 4 stories. The second, third, and fourth floors will be resident artist studios.
Okay.
When we formed the Pocono Center for the Arts and looked at a building, something we wanted to build or buy or rehab, this was crucial because when you have resident artist studios, if you look at the other art centers across the country that have been successful, they do this model. We didn't create the model, we're copying it actually. And this building is perfect for it. There's a performance center within the building down here, small 150 seats. It wouldn't do the shows we do, but it would do for nonprofits in the area. There's a lot of small nonprofit theater groups that could use it. 150 seats is perfect. Of course, if you have resident artists upstairs, it's an incubator for them downstairs.
Sure.
And then also there's art galleries or rooftop galleries. So it's art galleries and a performance center for that purpose.
Yeah.
And we've raised so far about $650,000, $550,000 from grants and $100,000 from ESSA Bank to outfit the theater. There'll be a big LED screen for backdrop, so your scenery is created on that backdrop. So
that's
it's
nice.
all-encompassing.
Yeah. How long do you think till we get this building up and running?
Everybody asks that question. That is the question of the year. I get it every day. When? And I said, well, we just put 2 grants in. LSA it's called, and the other is the RACP, $1 million each. So to get those grants, you have to get legislative support, and of course we're doing that. We're going around, seeing all of them. They've all helped us before. Now we're asking them for more. So that's $2 million. If we get one of those, we'll be home free. We'll be able to do this. So we're getting close, but it's still far. You know, it's hard to raise money today. You know, if you look at a community, the first thing you look at when you want to move there is what's available in cultural aspects. However, it's the very last thing to get funded, and you know that. It's
right.
It's hard to raise the money. It's very competitive, but we're doing it, and we're not going to stop. So the shows help us create the awareness because they say, well, what do you do? And it's hard to explain these shows, but it's not about the show so much. It's creating the interest and the magnitude. And then, of course, we have a big performance space at the Sherman Theater. We can use that, and that'll be very helpful with that whole change right now. Let's
talk about that change at the Sherman Theater. That kind of surprised everybody, I think, that the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau is now managing that. How's that going to work with what you're doing? Is it competition? Is it working together?
No, it's not competitive at all. It's a collaboration. You know, they need programming. Programming is more than booking shows, and Stephen can do that. So the thing is, we're working very closely, and we'll see what happens.
We're talking about the Pocono Center for the Arts, President Skip Sheetz. For people out there who don't know you, who is Skip Sheetz?
I don't know. I'll be 78 next month. I don't know what I'm doing. They say, are you going to retire? I don't know. I own manufacturing companies, engineering manufacturing companies.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up all your life? I mean, how did you start?
That was my career. Well, what happened, my dad was a plumber.
Okay.
We grew up with an outhouse. He got a job as a plumber. The back porch became a bathroom. And I was 9 years old. And he bought this business. We had nothing, you know, no money. And he had this development, like 10 houses. And I was 9 years old. I was in a job with him every year, every day.
Oh, wow.
And I loved it. I loved working. Your son's working with you today, and I like doing it.
Sure.
So at the end of the summer, Schwinn bikes showed up. You know, the Schwinn bikes were $75 with the chrome fenders.
Yeah, they're nice.
I had an English bike. They were cheaper. You know, there was no Japanese or Chinese things. It was all, this is back in 1947 I was born. I'm an old man.
You don't look it.
So anyway, at the end of the summer, this Schwinn bike showed up. I said, Dad, what's that? He said, that's for you, son. I said, Dad, we can't afford that. He said, you've earned it. And I realized the only people that make money work for the mint. The rest of us have to earn it. And at that moment, I wanted to be self-employed. I didn't want to work for anybody. Anyway, he insisted I become an engineer.
Okay.
Sent me off to Drexel for his dream. That was his dream, to be an engineer. And I was doing really well there. And then my girlfriend, you know, and I decided to have a baby. And so I left 3 years in. I thought, well, I'll finish up another time. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go to work. I really did. I said, if I need to learn something, I pick up a book. I mean, that's me. I just want to go to work and do something. And So anyway, when he died happy. I owned 2 engineering companies, one mechanical engineering and one electrical, and that was in Easton. I sold those, and then at that point, I needed something else to do. Now I grew up in this cold winter house.
Where was this at?
In Frenchtown, New Jersey.
Okay.
Beautiful town.
Yeah.
And my mother was a dancer, so I grew up in the ballet bar in her dining room. And I was a classical musician, and I learned music, and I was in the band and all that stuff. So I have both music, and I guess my left and right brain are messed up. I got one side arts and one side, engineering.
That's all right, yeah.
But a business is all about the numbers,
Sure.
cash flow. You got to have an eye towards business.
Yeah. And you understand that.
I understand that. We were leaders in the world in both companies. We had leadership in each field, but and that was fun. That was my passion, really.
Yep. And then at some point, you got out of that.
Well, I sold the company, and then I needed something else to do. And then John Yetter came to me that owned the Pocono community, the Pocono Cinema.
Yes.
And it closed twice. And he says, "Can we do something?" But I said, "Well, we could form a I should have kept my mouth shut." I said, "We could form a nonprofit." I did a lot of nonprofit work, and I said, "Well, we could form a nonprofit," and we did that and resurrected that. And then this.
Then this came up, and this just one day you thought it would be great to have this.
No,
or
not
how did
just me.
come-
It was Rich Pisano and I.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, Rich owned Rainbow Mountain. He's an entrepreneur. We're both entrepreneurs. I guess that's what it is. That's craziness. You do things nobody else wants to do, I guess.
Right.
But we got talking one day over coffee and said, we need an art center. And we said, yeah, let's do it. It was that easy.
Wow.
So,
And then from there to this. Now, at this point, with everything going on, you I see you take memberships. Memberships are available for the Arts Center, but you need money. You need sponsors,
money,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Well,
to get this thing built.
For example, ESSA Bank. I mean, we couldn't have done any of this without them. They were the first people in with cash.
Yeah.
You need somebody to sponsor, and we have which are really good sponsors. Obviously, the Stroumer Country Inn and Shawnee Inn and the Deerhead, but Novus is a big sponsor. But the ESSA Bank is the sponsor that really put the cash in, and then others too, not just them, but
yeah. And then this building location came up. How did that come about?
Well, we wanted the building, and then I don't know how I know what happened. It was during the pandemic, and we were at where were we at? We were at a restaurant with a lot of the arts people and stuff, and Kathy Lockwood.
Okay.
And she had the building, and they wanted to do something with it. And they said, "Skip, we can't do it without you. We think the Pocono Center for Arts has to do it." And they said, "What we're going to do is have a fund." I said, "No, I'm out. We can't do that." And they said, "What do we do?" I said, "We need to have an appraisal of the building. I need to have some drawings done." She said, "What's that going to cost?" I told her. She said, "I'll pay for it." I said, "Okay, you pay for it, and then I'll take it from there."
Yeah.
And she did. She paid for the appraisal, and then she paid for the drawings. We did these architectural drawings. Rich made up this. He does the artist renderings, one step at a time. But you got to be patient, and I'm not very patient, but I have to be patient.
So what can people do right now if they want to help out with getting this done? I mean, you need money, so you need sponsors. Also, I guess coming out to your events is important.
It's important because you can't explain it. You have to come and see one. So come. It's $40 a ticket for a senior. You can't. The only reason you can do it so inexpensively is because of ESSA Bank and the sponsors. They pay for the show.
Okay.
And,
Bring everybody in.
Because they believe in the mission that we're doing, and they see it's working for the community.
Right. Yeah. It's fabulous. I've been to many of your performances. They're really great. Wish you a lot of luck as we move forward here and hopefully see this eventually built. 700 block of Main Street in Stroudsburg, right next to
It'll resurrect
Maria's.
downtown between us and the, of course, the Historical Society did a great job. The YMCA is resurrecting their whole building. And of course, the Sherman Theater, it'll resurrect downtown Stroudsburg.
Like a renaissance.
Yeah,
Renaissance.
downtown, I guess.
Stroudsburg, right, eventually.
What we see is having, we go to Key West a lot in Provincetown, and New Hope, I grew up close to there.
Yeah.
If you go to those destinations, they're art communities.
Yes.
And we saw that here. We do this because we're so close to New York City. We are and we're also not far from the Lehigh Valley. There's a million people down there. So we saw this Stroudsburg area as a hub.
We're situated well.
Situated
here,
well.
Right? Yeah.
And I envision art galleries all over the place. And we're putting up art galleries, empty spaces, pop-up galleries. We're doing. We have a beautiful gallery at the Stroudmoor, for example, Otterall Gallery. That's our gallery permanently right now.
Right.
So we have spaces. We go in and put on some great shows. Right here at the Shawnee Inn, there's Jonathan Brody. He's a photographer. We have the only photography studio in Monroe County right now, permanent. And it's right here at the Shawnee Inn. So that's the kind of thing we're doing.
These are things that people can take advantage of. Come out and see. right?
That's right,
Public,
yeah.
It's open to the public. All right. Skip, if people want more information about Pocono Center for the Arts and the things you do, how would they find that out?
You go to PoconoCenterForTheArts.org, the website, and then this card will come up. It shows all the performances, what they do, what their backgrounds are. They can call me. My name, my phone number's there. Don't call too much. But my phone number, they can call me and we can talk about it. But the main thing is come out, see what we're about. You know, seeing is believing. You can talk about it all day. You can't explain the show. I can't explain it. If you try to sell it, you oversell it.
Yeah.
So you got to just see it. You got to experience it. You know, with AI now, there was a thing we were talking about. The Eugene Goetz is one of our pianists, and he was he orchestrates and does this. You know, he orchestrates everything. He was on the road with the Dolly Parton show. He reorchestrated the whole show because those musicians don't work with music. They have charts, and nobody can understand it but them. So Eugene had to write the whole show from scratch. And they're talking about AI coming in and doing all this, and the performers are getting nervous. Like if AI is going to do this, and I said to the show, you could put a computer on the stage. It's not the same. A computer, I saw my daughter being born. A computer, you can't explain to a computer what that's like. So a computer cannot recreate the emotion that a performer does, especially with a live audience.
Skip, we wish you a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything. Thanks for being on the program.
Thank you. You know how to spell luck?
How do you spell it?
W-O-R-K.